This one with Miami Dolphins.
The pressure, he's in trouble. Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it!
You have got to be kidding me.
Jalen Ramsey, the Dolphin touchdown.
Throwing deep upfield on the near side, man open, touchdown! Looking deep, he's got a man! Touchdown!
The run from Tua Tagovailoa.
Touchdown!
He's going deep! He's got it for the touchdown! He's in! Touchdown! David, tell me what you want to see.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fire to the end zone. Touchdown!
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. 1, 2, 3, hit! Let's go!
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason, and we are back here for another one. Please don't mind my voice a little bit. I'm sick all weekend, and in my mouth currently is a Ricola, so don't mind me. All right. That's how I gotta get through this. I got a couple things I gotta do before. Just some house cleaning notes here. Shout out to Mem Salanoa for the $5 donation a couple days ago. And then Robert Carrillo had a donation last week, $13. He said, let's go with toasting glasses. Appreciate. That was during the Ramsey. Robert Carrillo donated during the Ramsey, and Mem Salona donated on Friday, I believe it was. So I want to shout them out and thank them for their support and for their contribution. I appreciate you guys. Now, man, we got a lot to talk about too. You know, I got to hit the Ricola because I got to keep I got to keep that throat nice and red. Oh, pause. You're not going to catch me. I got to be able to talk here. So, shout out to the Watch Mister. Hope your wife had a great birthday. Fins up, everyone. It was actually awful. And that's because my wife came down with a throat infection and a double ear infection that she's still battling right now. So this house that I currently live in is an absolute disaster. All right, it's a walking. There's no COVID, but it's a walking pandemic inside the walls of my fortress. So yeah, but I appreciate the donation, Watch Mister. Thank you very much. We still went out to dinner and stuff like that. Because what she has wasn't it's obviously not contagious. So me, I didn't catch mine till Friday is when it hit me, and it just peaked yesterday actually. So hopefully I'm back on the mend here. Shout out to Rhino Sith, member for 16 months. He said, hope you and the family feel better soon too. So do I, man. That's brutal. We all caught COVID together, man. I'm telling you, they do not lie to you when they warn you that when your kids start going to, kindergarten, JK, whatever, they start bringing everything home with them in terms of illness, 110%. Well, and I never got sick. I never, ever used to get sick before my kids started going to daycare. Shout out to Rhino Sith. He also gifted 5 Phinside The NFL memberships. Wow. That means Robert Thompson, you are a member, thanks to Rhino Sith. Brian Gonzalez is a member, thanks to Rhino Sith. Bob Oliver is a member, thanks to Rhino Sith. Jason Keck is a member to Rhino Sith. And Andre Villarreal is a member, thanks to Rhino Sith. Man, appreciate. Yeah, exactly, Watch Mister. Kids are little petri. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. So, shout out to Rhino, God and the Mod Squad coming through and laying it out for all of y'all. Appreciate you, Rhino. Everyone send him a thank you in the comments if he got you modded, man. Shout out to Russell. He says, feel better, fam. Dalton Schultz signed with the Texans. Yeah, only $9 million too, eh? Turned down more money. Kind of like Chancey Gardner-Johnson, right? Turned down more money from the Eagles because he thought his market was going to be really high, only to take $8 million to go with the Lions. That Lions team next year, I am telling you, that Lions team, they're going to be good, right? And we all know what Tua did to them, right? When they beat Rodgers at the end of the season, everyone's like, oh, the Lions are on a come up. When Tua shreds them all, the Lions are no good. Watch the Lions this year. The Lions are a playoff team this year. Mark my words. That boy Dan Campbell got everything. I love that guy, man. I would run through a brick wall for Dan Campbell. Let it be known. So, hey, if there's any two franchises in the NFL that deserve success, it's the Dolphins and the Lions. Listen, I ain't giving the Browns no pass, all right? Y'all had the team and let it go to Baltimore, and you let the championship walk to Baltimore. So who you got to blame? You ain't got no one to blame but yourself, all right? So, nah. And then Cleveland did what they did last offseason, giving all that money and screwing everyone up. No, man. So, screw Cleveland. They don't deserve Jack Bo Diddley. All right? At least they had Major League in the 90s. So, I always loved Dan Campbell. What I hated about Dan Campbell was he was like 8 years too, what was he? Like 5-6 years too early, basically, in Miami. So, I love that guy, man. I used to love Dan Campbell, man. I would have ran through a wall for that guy. He was awesome. He was awesome. So, I do have a couple things I do want to cover here. Robert Thompson, I would love Lions versus Dolphins would be an awesome Super Bowl. I could literally say, if we lost, sure, I'd be heartbroken, I'd be sad, and I'd shed some tears, but at least we would have lost to a team that deserves it. You know? Like, imagine being one of those teams in the last 20 years that lost to the Patriots again out of the NFC. You know? Right? Lose the same team over and over again. Brian Gonzalez wants a 49ers versus Dolphins rematch. I'm down for that. I am down for that. Shout out to everyone. Joe Levesque says Major League and crippling depression is the only thing Cleveland produced. Didn't even give them credit for the Drew Carey show. I love it, Joe, because I didn't like that show either. I thought it was overrated. And same with that song, Cleveland Rocks. Cleveland Rocks what? The only time Cleveland and rocks go in the same sentence are when people in Cleveland are like, I'm bored in Cleveland. Let's smoke some rocks because there's nothing left to do. All right? I got to give him props for LeBron, though. Got to give him props for Braun. Yeah, you got to give him props for Braun. So, shout out to everyone in the comments. Let's roll through. Let's give a quick shout out. We haven't done one of those in a minute. Let's do one of those because we have not done that in quite some time. This is as high as I can go in the chat, so excuse me if I missed you. Someone asked if I like A-Chain. That's my guy. Shout out to Brian Gonzalez, James Steele, Ernest, Knight. What else we got here? We are rolling here. Russell. Who else we got here? Well, there's 300 of you in the comments, so I got a lot more than those people, that's for sure. Dub MCs. Oh, man. Ryan Dunn. Jason Thomas from Compton. I appreciate it. Straight out of Compton. Andrew Harris. Robert Thomason. Jeff Sweet. John Fernandez. Andre Villarreal. Big Heck. Who else we got here? Remember, once I catch up, I get to stop. John Fernandez, Bob Oliver, Watch Mr. Obviously, the homie, Rhino Sith, K-Jax. Oh, I have top chat turned on. I don't have live chat, so I just did a bunch of y'all dirty. Ooh, I just did a bunch of y'all dirty. Sean Payton, Justin, Ish the Human, Josh45, Robert Carrillo. Robert, if you missed it, I shouted your donation out from last week because I missed it. Aladino, Scotty, Jake Dixon. Sherfield is the enemy now. We'll talk about that. Jack Legg, and I love Sherfield. The Truth. We're going to talk about Sherfield to the Bills. Don't you worry. Sean Davis, Jeff Fremont, Daddy Dean, Joe Levesque, K-Jax, Robert Lund, Jackson Carney, Corey Moore, Tony Marine, Bentley. I think I'm caught. Justin Collins. I think I'm caught. Boom. Oh, no, I'm not. Sean Pye I did see the video of Fluker. He is. Pause. DJ Fluker is huge. If anyone hasn't seen that man's training at Alabama right now. That guy is freaking jacked. John Wayne's 45. John Wayne's 45. That's amazing. Obviously a Western fan. So shout out to John Wayne's 45. Regil, what up? Darth Logan, what's going on, brother? 330 of you in the room. In case you want an update of what that rattling you might hear is. I'm sick. Thus, I am, allowing a Ricola to soothe my throat here. Yannick, what's going on? Rome. Man, that's the thing. I got to keep it consistent. Sherfield, brother, I love you. You better keep your head up, kid. You better keep your head up when you come over that middle, all right? You better, man, you and Gesicki better have those heads on the swivel. I'm just saying when you come over our middle. And I love Sherfield. I'm a fan of Trent Sherfield. All right? I love that kid's work ethic. Man, get your bag. All right? And we'll talk about it here because people are going to come out here and twist his words. People are going to try, but I got all the context, baby. We're going to end that before it even starts. So, but, man, bro, you the ops, bro. I don't know what else to say. You the ops. So, we coming for you now. You are behind enemy lines, all right? You are no longer a friend, Trent. So, it is what it is. Keep that head on a swivel, all right? Now, something I've seen floating around, people want to talk about Jonah Williams. Should we make a move for Jonah Williams? Should we make a deal for, shout out Liam. Should we make a deal, Marble Man 2, one of the best names on YouTube. Amazing. All I need is Joe Camel and we're good to go. PL, what up, son? How you doing? Sorry, I missed you. I guess I didn't go up high enough. What up, PL? Jim McEwen, how you doing too? All right, Jonah Williams. Let's talk about this for a sec. No. Why are we going to go get Jonah Williams? Okay, let's break this down. Jonah Williams does not want to... Shout out to Gary. How you doing? Gary Skelton. Jonah Williams does not want to play right tackle. He does not want to play right tackle. I don't know why people want to go out there and trade for Jonah Williams. Okay? And some team's going to give him a starting left tackle job. There aren't 32 great left tackles out there. Someone's going to give him a shot. All right, that's one. Number two, he doesn't want to play right tackle. He was asked if he would move to right tackle by the Bengals because from what I understand, they were going to try and move off of La'el Collins. Because La'el Collins was worse than Jonah Williams last year. Jonah Williams is actually really, really good during the playoff run. So, they wanted to move Jonah Williams to right tackle and move off La'el because they realized the mistake they made. Jonah said no. So why are we going to bring someone in that doesn't want to play right tackle? Let alone, if memory serves me correctly, he didn't even play a snap at right tackle in college. What are we doing here? When you're, listen, when you get that deep into your career, you got to find a natural right tackle, okay? Or at least a guy who's playing both sides frequently. Not some guy who's been stuck on the left since he started college. And he's been in the league for 5 years. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Because you got to reach. Jonah Williams, first of all, isn't athletic enough to make that transition. I don't believe. Because you got to retrain your whole body now. You got to lead with your other side. You literally got to that's people don't realize how hard this is. People do not understand how hard that is. They just think it's mad. No, I can just change his position and slot him there and he's still a 93 overall. And I'm not saying Jonah Williams is 93, I'm just using that example. Oh, 93 overall, he'll stay there. No, it doesn't work like that. I've talked about this on the finish line with Richmond Webb multiple times. I've talked about it privately with Richmond Webb. Why do you think I was so hell-bent that Penei Sewell could make the move? Penei Sewell had, remember, he was drafted. When he was drafted, he had been playing right tackle at high school. All right? He only played, he was actually drafted as an interior lineman in Oregon. He played left guard at the age of 19. Let that sit in for a second. All right? But you look at his athleticism, and he had it up here, and he had the IQ. And he had played it recently. Like, not within, like, the last 6 years, but within, like, the last 3-4 years. So that made me comfortable with he could make the transition. And sure enough, what happened? We missed out on two of the best right tackles. Now, Waddle all day, but there was no excuse to miss out on on Tristan Wirfs. None whatsoever. Fin9113, reason, what kind of learning curve do you expect with the new defense? Preseason or longer? I don't expect it to be, it's not going to be that hard. Jalen Ramsey, right? Where did he come from? Raheem Morris ran who system? Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley is a protege of who? Running who system? Vic Fangio. Right? They were running straight from Brandon Staley in 2020, so I'm not worried about that. David Long, rangy, side to side, like he's a perfect scheme fit with his athleticism and what Fangio asks from his linebackers. I don't expect much transition. Listen, we're still a 3-4. It's just the aggressiveness and how we disguise things are totally different. You're not to throw the cover zero out the window, right? Now, X might have a huge year this year. Right? Doesn't have to travel. Guys won't be putting him in motion to try and wear him down. They're just going to split the field in half. And people are going to stray away from Jalen Ramsey and go to X, and you know what that means. Malik Reed. We'll get into him in a second here. But Malik Reed, Bradley Chubb. I mean, proven commodities that thrived in Fangio's defense. Jalen Phillips. I've already said that guy's going to unlock him. Right? Here comes Jalen Phillips, already a top 12, top 10 pass rusher. 6th in the NFL in pass rush win rate. He is about to be a top 3 rusher. Get ready. Top 5. You're going to enter that top 5 this year. Get ready. All right? Jerome Baker. Like, listen, I said, if you go read my Patreon post, my community tabs post for members only, even when I was hearing he's not safe, which would have been the case if we would have signed Devin Bush, even when I was hearing he's not safe, what was I still saying? It makes sense to keep him, though, because we didn't have depth. On top of that, his athleticism and speed kind of fits what Fangio likes. Now, where he lacks and what's going to suffer and kill him is instincts, diagnosing ability, read and react ability, to be able to disengage in light boxes. That stuff's going to kill him in the long run. And they'll be off Baker by the end of this year because the out is after this year. I don't expect them to keep her. Unless Baker takes a really nice step, the things that are highlighted that linebackers need to do besides athleticism and being rangy, he struggles in, right? Can't disengage. Doesn't matter whether it's light or heavy box, right? No instincts, right? Especially in play action, zero read and recognition ability. Zilch. And, I know where we're going with this. When they move off Jerome Baker, I'm going to hear the same people who are making Mike Gesicki out to be Travis Kelce. The same people are going to make Jerome Baker out to be like, we just lost Lawrence Taylor. Like, the thing that bugs me the most, and you can tell how big of a stat line watcher is if you come in my comments or if you even try to argue me on Baker, is, well, you had 100-plus tackles. Right there, you tell me you're a stat line watcher. Right there. 70-80% of those are 3-4 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. What good What good is your tackle when the offensive lineman or the running back or the fullback or the tight end is disengaging for you so you can get off him and make a tackle on the guy who's either running parallel to you or ran past you? What good is that? That ain't good to me. I need a guy. Go look at David Long. David Long gets off blocks and makes stops in and around the line of scrimmage. Real tackles. That's what I need. Jerome Baker don't give me that on a consistent basis at all. And he's a disaster in coverage. Absolute disaster in coverage. Well, you go look at David Long in coverage. Whoa, not even close. Now give me Baker's health and let me put it on David Long's body, and we are rolling, baby. But, I already see where this is going to go. All the cry. Y'all should be more sad about Trent Sherfield leaving than Gesicki. At least Trent Sherfield did his job. At least Trent Sherfield put the work in to get better. And Trent Sherfield earned a bag here. Mike Gesicki watched his market dwindle to where he had to accept an incentive-ridden contract. And tell me who the more physically gifted athlete out of the two of them is. It's Mike Gesicki. But what do I say? He's more focused on frosting his little tips and running through garages and catching footballs over houses than he is in perfecting his craft. See, that's what pisses me off the most about a player like that. You got all the talent, God-given talent in the world, but you haven't grown a damn inch in terms of playing ability and as a player since you came into the league. All because you don't want to put in the work. You know how many people in my chat right now would kill for that kind of athletic ability, and on top of that would show you what a real work ethic is? Just in my chat alone right now. Just in my chat alone, where we got over 450 people. You know how many of those people wish they had Gesicki's God-given talent? And if we would have started them, and from the same point, same talent, I guarantee a lot of these players with it. Gesicki, he got to beat you vertically, or you got to be wide open to make the catch. He ain't beating you at the catch point if there are defenders who know how to play the body and play the ball. Both. He don't know how to beat those guys. You're that size, and you haven't added mass. You haven't added strength. Now, at least I will say this about Jerome Baker. Jerome Baker has busted his ass and gotten better every year. So you will never hear me take that away from Jerome Baker. At least he's worked. Right? At least I've seen improvement every year, even if it's been, little by little, but, he's gotten better every year. Mike Gesicki, flatlined. So, listen, I might not be a fan of Baker the player. It's more so comes down to the contract, really. That contract is utterly dumb, and I knew it was dumb at the moment. People told me, he's Fred Warner, he's Darius Leonard, look at his numbers. Bro, don't show me no numbers. Watch the tape. He ain't no Fred Warner or Darius Leonard. Are you crazy? Anyways, so, yeah. Yeah, because I saw someone, Dolphin fan was telling me someone out here saying, no DB on our team will be able to cover Gesicki when he comes back with New England. Are you crazy with me right now? Are you serious? How many times did we see Cedric Wilson drop a football or not make a catch because he heard them footsteps coming? Let's get him in short, condensed areas with Javon Holland and Deshaun Elliott. Let's do it. Go throw him out on the boundary with Jalen Ramsey. See who wins that battle. We don't got DBs that can cover him. We got DBs that'll light him up and put the ball in the air. What are you saying? Whoever said that needs to learn ball. When Liam Dolphin fan told me that, I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. The other way around, Gesicki can't beat our DBs. He's done nothing to show he can beat those elite level guys. Stop. And we're going to get into it here, man, but to his fifth-year option officially activated today. Man, Tua haters are in shambles. And we're going to rub the proverbial salt in the wound today. We're going to make it sting just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Right? We already told y'all you didn't know ball and you didn't know how to break down film and you didn't know how to evaluate players. Because all I know is a professional NFL franchise keeps agreeing with moi, not y'all. All right, that's how I see this. So, woo! And it's official. And hey, we knew it was coming. The market, man. That market is so dumb right now. You'd have to. Listen, this is what you could literally. Tua could miss the year on his 5th-year option at $23 million. Or they could say, you know what? You're just making bad. We're going to draft the guy. Something happened this year, let's just say, okay? They could go draft a guy in like the top 5. And the money that he would be making in that 1 year combined with Tua's would still be less than what Daniel Jones is being paid. You could literally go get Drake May. Say, all right, let everyone go to the top for Caleb Williams. I want Drake May. So you go get Drake May. And you can literally just keep it rolling. So now Tua going to pop off. And that first round pick is either going to be X's replacement or we're going to get a real right tackle. Holla freaking Lou year next year. Thank you, Stephen Ross, for screwing us out of the pick this year. Because we could have had Darnell Wright or Jack Campbell, I think. If that guy didn't mess around, man, I'm telling you. Because the word I'm hearing on the street is not only are the Bills interested in Brandon Shell, but they're very interested in Darnell Wright if he is around with their first round pick. If I have to watch Darnell Wright in Bills color, I'm gonna be physically ill. All right, I am gonna be physically ill if I gotta watch my stud go there. All right, bad enough. I hear they're going hard after Derrick Henry, but if I gotta watch that, man, John Fernandez, Braxton's gonna be that dude. Braxton's gonna be that dude. Here we go, Wes Welker 2.0. All right, I wanted him last year. I'm a huge fan of Braxton Berrios. We have a legit return threat. I think we have a guy who's going to be more utilized in the slot than he has been recently. I mean, ain't no Zach Wilson throwing to you now. Mike White might throw to you in the preseason, but the plan is he ain't throwing to you in the regular season. Watch this guy take off with Tua. Tua is going to love Braxton Berrios' skill set. Love, love, love. I cannot wait. And I wish we would have moved Cedric's money so we could have kept Trent, but it is what it is. But Braxton Berrios, sneaky, I love it. I am a fan. I can't wait. Can't wait. So let's talk about Rodgers. So in case you didn't see, shout out to the homie Anthony for hooking me up on this. He's posted the quote this morning. I said, man, I didn't see that. You got the clip? He threw me the clip real quick. And let's listen to this because Marcus Wiley, this came out yesterday on YouTube. So I don't know how many people might have seen this. So let's jump in. This is going to, woo! Oh, man, the Tua haters, they going to be feeling it right now. Let's start. Get out the bag of salt, all right? Get out the bag of salt, all right? Open the wounds and get out the bag of salt. Let's start rubbing it in.
Now, a birdie told me that knows Aaron Rodgers, that works out with Aaron Rodgers. That's all I can tell you before I get my informant, my source, in trouble. He told me there is a deal on the table from the Jets that is hella tempting. But at the same time, it's basically those two decisions. And I heard that Aaron don't even really want to play for the Jets. That's like his second choice. His first choice was Miami, but then they picked up Tua's 5th-year option, so therefore he's like, all right, do I really want to go to my third option? Because Green Bay still fits in there just because of how long you've been there and your tenure, right?
Woo! So let's break this down. First of all, Jets fans, how does it feel to be sloppy seconds to the Dolphins? Once again, it's like Tyreek all over again, but you know what we said? How does this feel, Tua haters? The Dolphins said, nah, we're good with Tua. We're good. And you're talking to a guy who thinks Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes were the best natural throwers of the football to come into the league since Dan Marino. Everyone knows I'm a huge Rodgers guy, but even I know a 39-year-old Rodgers, you don't move off the type of production you got last year. Now, if they were going to come down between Rodgers and Brady, I would take Rodgers over Brady just because of the age. But then again, Rodgers, 39, the reason why Brady's been able to play the level he's been able to play at and for how long he's been able to play at has been why? The amount of care and conditioning and focus he's put in on his body. Rodgers looks like he just got off Con Air, right? He don't put in that kind of work, right? So his body going to fall apart a lot quicker. And this just, honestly, I'm going to, Tua haters, cover your ears. Honestly, it's the same thing we're hearing what other teams, there are a ton of teams who are not interested in Aaron Rodgers, who thinks what the Packers are asking for, including a first-round pick, is ludicrous and he's not worth it anymore. Dolphins clearly share the same sentiment. Because guess what? I know it hurts. But here's the deal. Tua Tagovailoa was better than Aaron Rodgers last year. And he would have beat him, and he was crushing him in their game. And it took a concussion to Tua Tagovailoa for Aaron Rodgers to even squeak out a win. That's just facts. I don't know what to tell you. And, man, I just don't see it. I don't see this ending well for the Jets. But, hey, good on you. Enjoy. But look at that. How does that feel? All you people in your feelings today about Tua's 50-year option being picked up, becoming official. Now you know the Dolphins chose Tua over Aaron Rodgers. Aaron wanted to come here. We were his number one choice. No one wants to go to New York. No one wants that media. No one wants that media at all. It's the same reason why I know Lamar is kind of turned off by there. So, just saying. Now it looks like the Jets are the team. Man, it really looks like the Jets are desperate. Okay, your sloppy seconds. You're willing to probably give up more than what other teams are willing to give up. Man, reeks of desperation, and desperation never really usually breeds positive results. I mean, we'll see. But, man, Aaron Rodgers doesn't really, listen to this again, doesn't really want to go to the Jets. Listen.
Now, a birdie told me
really
that knows
Listen.
Aaron Rodgers, that works out with Aaron Rodgers. That's all I can tell you before I get my informant, my source, in trouble. He told me there is a deal on the table from the Jets that is hella tempting. But at the same time, it's basically those two decisions. And I heard that Aaron don't even really want to play for the Jets. That's like his second choice.
Damn.
His first choice was Miami, but then they picked up Tua's fifth-year option, so therefore he's like, all right, do I really want to go to my third option? Because Green Bay still.
Oh, ouch. It doesn't get any better, right? And even with the offer hella tempting, he doesn't really want to go there. Ouch. Oh, to be a Jet fan. Oh, could it? Man, they'll still probably be better than the Bills. Let's be honest. All right. So, on the weekend, I mean, I didn't go live because not only was I sick, but, really. The Dolphins, they replaced AVG with Malik Reed, 26 years old. And, I mean, very effective with Fangio. 13 sacks in those 2 seasons, like Joe Shad says here. And Mike McCartney is actually his agent. Love it. Absolutely love this move. I'm gonna just it could be a lot worse. And this, we know that Melvin Ingram was sitting around, potentially going to sign after June 1st. Ugh. I don't know now. Personally, the rotation of Malik Reed, Ogba, Phillips, and Bradley Chubb, my God, that's formidable. In this defense, my Lord. This is, I don't know what to say. This is going to be very impressive to watch. Very, very impressive. So, we'll see how it all works out. But this is a guy who he's a good tackler, creates pressure, and, you know, he really, you know, he doesn't get, you know, when they ask him to drop into coverage, he also doesn't get overly torched when he's been asked to. Now, he's never had a season with over 75 coverage snaps, but whenever he's been dropped into coverage, he's not a disaster either when he has to drop into the flats or whatever the case may be. So this is a very good signing. This is a very, very good signing and very low-key signing. Again, what do I keep saying? Right? High-value contracts. So I'm a big fan of it. And I'm a big fan of high-value contracts, you know? Signing the guys to reasonable deals, and you're going to get more out of their production than what you're putting in their bank account, right? If I'm going to sign you for $4 or $5 million and I'm going to get an $8-9 million player, that's a win for everyone. And, well, not for the player because, you know, but that's a win for us. That's what I'm saying. So really, really happy with the moves Greer has made thus far. Smart with his money. And listen, we got a bunch of money clearing up over on June 1st. I know they're monitoring the Dalvin Cook situation. We'll see how all that goes because I know Dalvin Cook will be willing to play ball if he comes here in terms of, you know, structuring his money and such. So we'll see how it all plays out. But they've given themselves a lot of flexibility in terms of a cap because they're only going to need a couple million for their draft class. So they've got restructure flexibility left plus a whole lot of money coming off the books June 1st. I mean, hell, if you were able to swing a deal for another interior linebacker, you could even get rid of Jerome Baker on June 1st. I saw people trying to claim his money's guaranteed. Yeah, his money came guaranteed on Friday, but you can still save money here. You can save over $8 million if you trade him or cut him post June 1st, whereas your dead cap would be around just over $3 million. Now, I think it'd be spread over the 2 years, the $3 million this year and like $4 million something next year. But Jerome Baker is not even still safe. So you got money that you got a lot of avenues that you can still even clear out money. So, hey, the world is Chris Greer's oyster. We're just living in it, right? So, big fan of the Malik Reed deal. Now, on the Monday morning quarterback this morning, Albert Breer broke down. He dove inside of the Jalen Ramsey trade. And if you haven't seen this, I think this is very, very... any news on Bobby Wagner? The latest I heard is, you know, when I reported before free agency, they felt, you know, it would be easier to land Levante David, whereas, you know, Bobby was a little bit more of a long shot because they know he prefers to play on the West Coast. That's why you heard rumblings of him going to Seattle, but then Seattle moved off and got another linebacker. So, I don't know. The last I heard was he prefers the West Coast, and that was just before free agency started. So, let's get into this. How the Jalen Ramsey trade was negotiated and why he only wanted to go to the Dolphins. It was Sunday morning in Austin, and David Mulugeta was winding through the city from his house, heading to pick up, remember, athletes first also, headed to pick up one of his highest profile clients for their second day together at South by Southwest. The client, Jalen Ramsey, was waiting in the lobby of his hotel. Dolphins GM Chris Greer, on the other side of the negotiation, was at home in South Florida. Chris Greer's coach, Mike McDaniel, was on a floaty with his buddies for his 40th birthday weekend. The trade that was about to go down, as Mulugeta dialed up Ramsey to tell him, not wanting to wait until he saw him in person with how fast news travels these days, was a very 2023 transaction, and that it was done more or less by everyone remotely. And that was hardly the only new age element to the deal. On one side, there was a team feverishly taking its final swings to leverage the edge of having a starting quarterback on a rookie contract. On the other side was a rival in the opposite position, looking to clean out its cap and go through its kind of one-year reset that other teams have recently to take care of a boatload of salary cap depth in one fell swoop. Most of all, in the middle, there was the player and his agent fully and completely aware of their power. I prayed for this specifically for about a month, Ramsey tweeted, and now it's happening. A couple of hours before that missive, Mulugeta was welcomed to Ramsey's hotel with an ear-to-ear smile from the three-time All-Pro corner. Their vision for the next step in Ramsey's career had manifested, and it was in large part not just because Miami's newest shutdown corner knew the sort of leverage he had. It was also because everyone else understood that he knew that too. That part, in fact, mattered a lot, which we'll explain in the Monday morning quarterback lead for this week. The first thing you need to know about all this, Ramsey didn't want to leave LA. His daughters were comfortable there. He liked playing for Sean McVay and Raheem Morris. His contract held up over time. He won a Super Bowl there. He saw himself in time retiring a Ram. But Ramsey's also going into his 8th NFL season, and as the same player who once announced his desire for a new contract by showing up to the Jaguars training camp in a Brinks truck, he understands the business side of the game, and it was the business side that McVay was coming to him to discuss in January as the Rams started to shape their plan for the offseason. McVay explained to Ramsey that the team was looking to conduct a significant cap cleanup over the following couple of months, plus replenish its war chest of draft picks after years of dealing picks away. Los Angeles would at least explore trading Ramsey as part of it. The hard reality was that Ramsey is probably the most tradable within the Rams' constellation of stars. Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp were both homegrown, a little older than the corner, and Donald specifically would probably rather retire than go most other teams. Trading Matthew Stafford would have larger implications, of course, given that he plays quarterback, and McVay took Ramsey through all of that, promising to keep him abreast of any further developments. Los Angeles plans went well beyond just the idea of moving its top corner. If the Rams ever wanted to be aggressive in trading for veterans in the future, as they had been over McVay's first 6 years, they'd need more cash, and picks to pull it off. They'd realize it in looking back at their effort to poach Brian Burns from the Panthers in the fall, and how doing the deal and paying Burns, as good as Burns is, would have hobbled them from the flexibility standpoint going forward. If McVay, GM Les Snead, COO Kevin Durnoff, and lead negotiator Tony Pastors had decided to kick the can down their own cap-wise for another year, could they have done it? Of course they could have, but they'd have done enough over the years to make 2 Super Bowls, with win one, and last year try to defend that championship, creating a natural crossroads. Simply put, the Rams went the other way, pushed more money off, and eschewed a 1-year dead cap purge like the Bears and Falcons did last year, or the Bills did in 2018. They'd be looking at a multi-year dig out from all the debt they'd rung up. So they cut Bobby Wagner and Leonard Floyd, gave Allen Robinson's agent permission to find a trade, and put Ramsey on the block, hoping that the combination of his resume, his contract, his premium position, and his unique skill set would generate a market. Ramsey understood that, even if he was a little disappointed initially after talking to McVay. The corner also knew with time he'd have his say. 2 weeks before the Combine, Snead started calling around to gauge where teams might stand on trading for players on his roster, to both try to get values on them and also put together lists of interested clubs. The Dolphins, of course, had heard rumors that Ramsey might be available, but that, for Greer, was when he knew definitively it was the case. Greer told Snead he might have interest in Ramsey. Snead responded, "Take a look at it," and then reminded Greer that the Rams wouldn't be at the Combine. The two agreed to stay in touch, and Greer went to work. Greer jumped into the tape, and before long, he called McDaniel, who had been in a meeting interviewing assistant coaches at the time, which is crazy. They watched Ramsey together. Then they called new defensive coordinator Vic Fangio to get his opinion. Look at the meeting of the minds they had watching film on Ramsey. So when all y'all trying to say Ramsey's washed, not only do I trust my own eyes that he's not washed, we got 2 film gurus in McDaniel and Fangio sitting in on a film session. What they saw on tape was a player who was as physical as he'd ever been, playing the nickel corner spot and being moved around more than he had been early in his career. Ramsey could still run, he could still cover, the ball skills, instincts, smarts, and playmaking ability were still there, even through some ups and downs. It was also easy for the Dolphins, and in particular Fangio, to translate what Ramsey had done with the Rams into Miami's new defensive system. Brandon Staley, a Fangio disciple, brought that system to Los Angeles in 2020, and Morris had maintained many of its principles in the 2 years since. And so, in putting all of it together, Miami's football people decided that, yes, it'd be great to add Ramsey to the roster. The next step was Grier going to lead negotiations with Brandon Shore, team president Tom Garfinkel. There's that name again, Tom Garfinkel. Why is Garfinkel involved in trades? Right? This should be Brandon Shore and the owner. I should not be having to talk to Tom Garfinkel about trades anyway. But again, that's just another example of me showing you, when you hear what I say about Garfinkel and his thumbs on the team, there's another example slipped in there so casually. Because he's not a football mind. People got to remember, he's not a football mind. And start work on what they'd been willing to trade for Ramsey, and also might trade contractually to get him on board. Snead wound up calling Grier at the end of Combine Week, with Grier still in Indianapolis, to circle back and further gauge his interest. By then, he'd given interested teams permission to talk to Malik about Ramsey, as well as to Ramsey himself. And as Snead continued to work through the process of dealing off his star with a contract to match, Ramsey already had an idea of how the story was going to end. He also knew deep down how his history would work to give him that ending. The first time Malik raised the Dolphins to Ramsey, the corner responded that yes, that'd be a place he'd go. Quickly, his feelings on going to Miami would grow stronger. He, of course, wanted to go to a place where he would win and where he'd fit in football-wise. Having helped other DBs shine in Jacksonville and L.A., A.J. Boye and Darius Williams, he also liked the idea of lifting up young safety Javon Holland and forming a dominant corner duo with Xavier Howard. That he had friends in Miami like Holland, Howard, Christian Wilkins, and Raekwon Davis didn't hurt either, amid the flurry of DMs and texts he had gotten from players across the league trying to recruit him to their teams. But one reason some teams had trepidation about trading for him, he'll turn 29 in October, and it's rare that corners keep dominating well into their 30s. Also gave him perspective, not just to fixate on the on-field stuff. So, as such, having played in warm weather in college in Florida State and in the pros in Jacksonville and Los Angeles, the right climate mattered. What was best for his daughter certainly did too. And taking all that into account, boxes kept checking for Miami. His stance hardened. I'm not going anywhere but there, Ramsey told Mulugheta. So make sure that's where I end up. Wow. That's how much people believe in what we're building right now. All right? Stars want to be here. Both guys knew the advantage they had too. Teams could remember how Ramsey elbowed his way out of Jacksonville and got to Los Angeles. They knew that there'd be plenty to ensure no team would trade for Ramsey without knowing he was on board, and the AG could, if he needed to, tilt the scales in the Dolphins' favor in contract talks. Meanwhile, Grier and Snead circled back the Tuesday after the Combine concluded. Snead told Grier what he was looking for. Grier balked, saying the proposal was more than he was willing to give, and the Miami GM got off the phone thinking the deal was dead. 2 days later, so on Thursday, Snead picked up with a call back with a proposal asking whether Miami would be willing to part with the 77th pick and a reserve tight end Hunter Long. There were teams willing to go further than that, but the Rams wanted to do right by Ramsey, and they also knew what Ramsey himself did, that no one would trade for the corner without knowing Ramsey would sign off on the deal. Grier told Snead he'd get back to him and went to talk to Ross, Shore, and McDaniel about it. Ross asked about how Ramsey's presence would affect guys already on the roster and in the locker room. Shore said the contract as it stood, $17 million this year, $18.5 in 2024, and $19.5 due in 2025, with $7.5 left that was fully guaranteed, was workable. McDaniel wanted the player. All signed off on the compensation going back to the Rams. Grier called Snead back, telling him he'd need permission again to talk to Mulugheta about the contract adjustments that he and Ramsey would be looking for. When those discussions started, Mulugheta and Ramsey already had acknowledged that the corner market hadn't changed since they did his extension with the Rams in September 2020, with the 4-year cash flow still topping the NFL, though Denzel Ward's deal and Jaire Alexander's deal are comparable. So for the Dolphins and the Dolphins only, Ramsey agreed that he wouldn't need much of a raise. So there you go. He agreed only for the Dolphins that I don't want much of a raise. And any other team that got involved would have to blow him away contractually to move him off the position that he'd only go to Miami. So right there, that's how hard his stance came. With that established, Malik went to the Dolphins looking not for a raise, but for a little job security. Shore, with Ross's blessing, agreed to give it to Ramsey, guaranteeing a $17 million base for this year and a $4 million roster bonus, plus his $14.5 million base next year, taking Ramsey's full guarantee from $7.5 million to $35.5 million over the next 2 years, with the logic being that the corner was going to be around for 2 years minimum anyway, and with that agreement, the deal moved into its final stages. Grier called Snead back Sunday morning to button things up. McDaniel playfully gave his GM crap that he still hadn't had a first-round pick as a Dolphins coach. Grier's response was that Tyreek Hill and Bradley Chubb were his first-round picks, and now Ramsey would be another one. True. This motivated Grier to make the late push for a give-back, asking Snead to throw in a late-round pick to finish the team, since Miami would have only had 4 picks after trading away its third-rounder. Snead responded that because the Rams were trying to stockpile picks, he couldn't, and that he had other teams that were willing to give him picks without a pick give-back. Grier then got the final sign-off, and it was set. We have a deal, Grier told Snead. Grier confirmed with Malik, who told the Miami GM that Ramsey was good with the terms. Grier asked Snead for the time to call along and wish him luck in Los Angeles and tell him Grier hated to lose him, but that Snead and McVay really wanted him. Yeah, okay. And they could finalize the contract. And Grier, of course, wanted to tell McDaniel, too. I'm on a floaty right now, McDaniel responded. The twist at the point was that Grier and the Dolphins didn't know how badly Ramsey wanted to be there. When they talked before, it was only about the expectation that Ramsey be a leader if the trade went through. Ramsey slyly said he'd be excited to go there. On their next call, Ramsey spilled the beans. Oh, Grier said to him, laughing. Well, that's good. And Ramsey went through all the guys he knew on the Dolphins defense and talked about watching Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Raheem Mostert on crossover tape. If anyone in Miami needed reassurance, that was a good piece of it. The truth is, by then the Dolphins were good, as were the Rams. Los Angeles has between $55 and $57 million in dead money on its books, and a dozen picks in April's draft. The first one is 36, which, if the Rams use it, would be their highest in 7 years. And because they haven't and don't plan to put June 1st designations on any of this year's cuts, they'll come out of this year clean, with $70 million in cap space cleared for 2024 and a full complement of picks next year for the first time in forever. They also got a trade return that wasn't close to what they gave up for the 25-year-old Ramsey in 2019, but was similar to what the Lions got for Darius Slay. Meanwhile, Miami landed another star and is giving Fangio perhaps the NFL's best corner tandem in his first year running the defense, which gives the Dolphins a chance to keep pace with an AFC East that'll likely have both Josh Allen and Aaron Rodgers in it. As for Ramsey, he got what he was looking for, just like he knew he could. Man, let's go, baby. Let's go. This man said, I don't want to go anywhere about Miami, and you better make it happen. I love it, baby. I'm here for it. I am here for it. Man, great stuff. Great stuff, man. Huge. So, and Jalen Ramsey been a team player since he got here. You saw how quickly, he restructured after he moved all his money around too, to give us even more room. So, Ramsey looks like Tyreek Hill, another big star we brought in that is a team player and is here to win and understands the window is now. So, man, I can't believe we got Jalen Ramsey. That's unbelievable. All right, we did this last week. We'll do it today. So, after the first full week of free agency, heading into this morning, the Miami Dolphins, they have gone from the third most improved team in the NFL. They are right now the 9th most improved team in the NFL, first through the first full week of free agency and legal tampering. So, man. Still top 10 in improvement. It could be worse. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Bucks. My God. So, hey, and we've only really added one big star name, and we've got a whole bunch of cap clearing up. Don't worry, we'll get better through the draft. We're going to get even better. We don't have very many holes, but I will take a top 10 improved team. Listen, when you are coming off a season where you made the playoffs, and then you go into an offseason after the first week in free agency, you're a top 10 improved team. All I see are more playoff dubs. That's all that clicks with me. So, hey, let's be happy. Don't worry, be happy. All right, now, I know what people are going to do. Now, people are going to start twisting Trent Sherfield and what Sherfield said. I know that's the next play here. And because Trent Sherfield has officially signed with, man, it pains me to say this, with the Buffalo Bills. Oh, my God. And with Trent Sherfield signing, he had some interesting comments. So let's start off. So we'll start off. Trent Sherfield on his decision to come to in Buffalo and play for the Bills with multiple teams in the mix for services. If you want to be an elite receiver, come and play with an elite quarterback. Then Matt Perino quote tweeted himself, and Sherfield liked this quote tweet and said this wasn't a shot at Tua, FYI. He said he wanted to return to Miami, and it seemed like the Dolphins moved in a different direction and wanted other guys to step up. And I already know people are going to try and turn this, oh, he's taking shots at Tua. Right there. Right there. You want even more proof? Look at what Elena Getzenberg said here. New Bills wide receiver Trent Sherfield said that he went into free agency thinking he was going to be back with the Dolphins, but that once that door closed, he focused on other teams. But he said once the Bills came into the picture, it was something he couldn't look past. So not only did he want to be back with us, he thought he was going to be back with us. Right? He wanted that return in Miami, but we went in a different direction because of Cedric Wilson. 566 of you in the room. Smash that like button. If you're going to blame someone, you blame Cedric Wilson. No, Cedric Wilson's contract now, and hindsight is 2020. But it's turned out to be one of the worst contracts we handed out. Because then we got Tyreek Hill, and we lose main key contributors like Trent Sherfield. So hopefully Cedric can step up this season. Because he's going to have to. He's going to have to, because if he don't, ouch. Because we're losing guys like that. And I already know what the clowns are going to do. The clowns are going to come through. Oh, you're talking about Allen. What are we talking about here? Tua was in the MVP conversation last year. Tua had like 111 passer rating against the Bills. 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Over 420 yards passing. Over 65% completion percentage. Tua should have won that game in December. The defense let us down. Tua should have been 2-0 against them last year. But the defense let us down. I find it funny, people want to throw that December loss on Tua. All right? They don't want to mention how Sherfield and Tyreek Hill should have been touchdowns in the end zone. That would have won us the game in the long run. They don't want to talk about how the defense gave up big plays and big points to Josh Allen. Man, that wasn't Tua didn't let us down that game. He wasn't good against San Fran, and he wasn't good against the Chargers, but he didn't lose us that Bills game. And I'm not worried about him against the Chargers and the San Francisco 49ers anymore. You know why? Because I've said this before. Historically, Fangio's defense is what he struggled against. What did they run in San Francisco? What do they run under Brandon Staley in LA? Versions of Fangio's defense. Guess what? Now, Tua's going to have all the answers because you got the Godfather in the building, and you got Mike McDaniel who's picking Fangio's brain as well and giving answers to him on top of that. You ain't going to see a Tua more prepared against that defense than what you're going to see this year. Get ready for it. That's why I said we were expecting them to be historic this year before we got Fangio. Right? Second year in this offense, we were expecting Hill, Waddle, everyone to be even better. Now that we got Fangio, and the answer to 11 teams in the NFL run Fangio's defense in some way, shape, or form. And now we have the answers to a third. And those are the only defenses. That's the only style of defense Tua still really struggles with when you watch the tape. And now the answers are going to become to him. I can't wait, baby. I can't wait, baby. Oh, my God. If this man stays healthy, it's never mind a movie. This is going to be a cinematic masterpiece, bro. This season's going to have to be framed. Put it in the Louvre. All right? Never mind a movie. If he stays healthy, never mind a movie. You're going to want to hang this season up in the Louvre. I'm telling you right now. Okay? People don't realize, man, the rub-off that Fangio's going to have on our offensive guys this preseason, this is going to be the training camp y'all are going to want to be down there for and watching and paying attention to. Also, guys, I'm going to be live in the day tomorrow. All right? Midday matinee on Phinside The NFL. I'm going to be live with David Furones of the Sun Sentinel. And we're going to be discussing free agency, to his fifth-year option, the Jalen Ramsey trade. He was in Indy, so we're going to pick his brain about what he was hearing on the floors of Indianapolis at the Combine, both draft and any other rumblings. So we're going to pick David Furones' brain tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit of a free agency review. So be on the lookout for that, man. We're going to be live in the middle of the day. I'm going to try and go live probably around 1 or 2 o'clock. So be on the lookout for that one. That's going to be one you don't want to miss. All right? So David Furones on the channel tomorrow. You don't know what time it is, baby. We do it big. And then Wednesday, me, Richmond, and ball game for the finish line. Thursday, me and Neil, fin too deep. And then I don't know whether I'm going to have my next. Oh, I didn't even tell y'all. Oh, man, I got to tell someone. Check this out. I'm going to tell all y'all. Already, your boy was locked in with treasure troves of all 22. You already know it. You've seen me been doing any college player video, whether we drafted the player or whether I did my big boards. Y'all have been seeing me do it for the last 3 years. Well, your boy just found the holy grail of all 22, baby. Woo! Man, I was scraping and scratching and clawing for Old Dominion tape. Got it all. Got it all, baby. So, right? Because when I have a problem finding all 22 on players, I just watch broadcasts, and then whatever tape I can find, I'll chop up. Right? But to get a broader spectrum, if I can't find enough all 22 on you, I'll just watch broadcasts. So, I got all the Sun Belt Conference, FCS, I got everything, everyone. So shout out to the homie who hooked that up. He knows who he is. Man, that's why it's good to know ball and to be respected by people in the scouting community because of your own scouting takes and how well you know ball. All right? That's why I get these kind of luxuries. And I'm excited because I get to pass them on to y'all. Because what I'm going to do is I'm thinking the next 2 big boards coming are tight end and linebacker. All right? Tight end, linebacker, and right tackle. I'm going to let the Patreons and the members in the community tab, I'm going to let them pick the 5th big board. We've already dropped running back. I'm going to drop tight end next. Then after that, I'm going to drop linebacker. Then after that, I'm going to drop right tackle. And then we'll figure out, or tackle, I guess. We'll do tackle. But maybe I'll do a right tackle specific. Guys who, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I'm going to be doing tackle. And then I'll let people figure out the 5th. Do they want center? Do they want guard? You know what I mean? Do they want safety? I'm going to let the Patrons and I'm going to let the channel members in the community tab. I'll put polls up soon so they can choose on what we decide for that 5th big board is. Because, already dropped running back, linebacker, tight end, and tackles 4. So we're going to need a 5th. We got options. Personally, I'd go interior offensive line, but we'll see what y'all choose. Listen, I'll let y'all know what it is. And I'll keep you guys up. I'll keep you updated on it. Rome, I've actually been thinking about, going the coach. I've actually been thinking about that. Maybe when my kids get older and I get more free time on my hands, I might go and try and coach maybe a little bit, So go back to some of the old stomping grounds, you know what I mean? And coach. It's been on my mind lately. We'll see. You know what I mean? And coach real football players, Like, I love kids, but, I'm out here. I want to coach schemes and I want to watch tape and break down. I want to do that kind of stuff. I don't want to. So we'll see. I mean, because this channel and doing this, it takes up a lot of time. So something like that would need a lot of attention. So we'll see how it all plays out. So yeah, I haven't decided. The next big boards, it's gonna come either this weekend or next weekend after my usual lineup of shows. I haven't figured it out yet, but I mean, hey, look at it. We are just a month. Like a month and a week away. We are on the horizon. Draft season. Smell that? Draft season is upon us. Now, before I get out of here, because I do know that I think I missed a donation here. Let me see if I can. It is, Knight said, Lamar Jackson has been waived. Well, the Broncos anyway. Wrong Lamar. You try to get everyone all worked up. I love it, eh? I love it. Get them all worked up, kid. Get them all worked up. Man. Yes, young Padawan. All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. Again, I'll be back tomorrow. Look for me in the day. Me and David Ferones. Listen, you ain't going to want to miss this. Every time we get together, y'all love it. Y'all gobble it up. So we're bringing it back for y'all. So make sure you come through tomorrow and check us out. Please, still over about 500 of you in the room, smash that like button on the way out. It does me the biggest help. Subscribe if you are new because, guys, we are creeping up on 11K. We are actually only 29 away. 29 away from 11K. So sub if you're new. If you got other accounts, sub with them. I don't know. 29 away from 11K. Appreciate all y'all for coming through. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. Until next time, you already know what time it is. Fins up all day, every day. I will see all of y'all tomorrow in the day. Hey, hey, hey. Fins up, everyone. Have a fantastic evening.